Welcome to Happy Healthy Living with Yvonne Douglas. I'm Doug, and today we're going to make some delicious autumnal ginger cookies. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So let's talk about the ingredients you're going to need to make our delicious autumnal ginger cookies. First of all, you're going to need 2 cups of almond flour, and I'll post a pic so you can see which almond flour I am using. You're also going to need 1/3 of a cup of, this is Keto sweetener, and we're going to need 1/3 of a cup of this. This is the sugar substitute. That's why it's going to be keto friendly. Next thing we're going to need is 1/3 cup of softened butter. We're going to need 1 egg white. So if you have one of these egg white separators, you might want to get one of these. We're also going to need 2.5 teaspoons of ground ginger. We're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, yummy yum, and 1/2 teaspoon of pure orange extract. Hopefully, and I'll post, I'll put the ingredients on the side here and list it for you guys. Another thing you're going to need is some food coloring. Now, I'm going to make 2 different sections. One is going to have, it's going to be plain. That's going to be for Yvonne because he can't have any sugar at all. And mine, it's going to have a topping of a little bit of sprinkles. I'm going to be using this white sparkling sugar. So for me, it's going to have a little bit of sugar, not bad. And I'm actually going to use some food coloring to dye one orange, to dye some sprinkles orange, and then the other one red, and maybe with a little bit of brown too, because I'm going to be using these autumnal cookie cutters. So I have maple leaves here, a large one and a small one, and I also have a pumpkin cutout, a large one and a small one. So we're going to be cutting out some pumpkins and some leaves. So I want to decorate some of them with the sprinkles. I think it's going to look really pretty. All right, and you're also going to need some parchment paper. This is going to be super important, guys, because this dough does not roll out normal. You got to do it between 2 sheets of parchment paper. And so, of course, you're going to need a rolling pin. And you might need some little bowls for those sprinkles. If you're going to be doing the sprinkles, you might just have yours plain. But I'm going to make some with sprinkles. You're also going to need cookie sheets and maybe some Silpat. If you have Silpat, these you don't have to, I mean, all you do is put the dough on there. It's so easy to use. So I love using Silpat. And of course, a little rack to cool your cookies. And I believe that is it. We're going to be using our KitchenAid mixer. And I have another small Sunbeam mixer here for the egg whites. And so let's get baking. Okay, so we're back. So what we're going to do is put all our dry ingredients into our bowl here. And I already put the 2 cups of almond flour in here. Now I'm going to put 1/3 of a cup of this Keto Golden. Let me try to open this. Here we go. And I'm going to use 1/3 of a cup of this. This is the sugar substitute. Okay, that's 1/3 of a cup. And then I'm going to put all my other dry ingredients in here, like my ginger. Remember, we're going to need 2.5 teaspoons of ginger. And I'm also going to put 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg and 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. I just love the way all these smell. They smell so good. It smells just like autumn. And I am ready for autumn, folks. And these are some cookies that we're also going to have at our Halloween party too, by the way. So anyway, so we need 1/2 teaspoon of orange extract. Yum. And that is it. So I'm going to mix these up. Okay, now I'm going to add the butter. And your butter should be softened. Mine could be a little bit softer, but I'm gonna use it anyway. I'm impatient. But make sure your butter is softened. And then I'm going to mix this until it's kind of crumbly. I just want to blend it until it's kind of crumbly. Okay, so it's looking really good. It's very crumbly. That's what you want. So I'm going to stop it here. And let me just show you quickly what it looks like. So that's what it should look like right now, kind of crumbly. Okay, so I'm gonna put this to the side right now. And next I want to separate my egg. So I'm gonna use my egg separator. And basically all you do is just crack your egg, and you definitely want to get a plate or a bowl so you can put the egg yolk in it. You can use that for something else. And so it goes in very nicely. There we go. All right. So I got my egg white. Okay, so I want to get my egg white here. I'm gonna kind of beat this until it's stiff. Okay, so you can see that my egg white is getting stiff, and that's what you want. I'm gonna do it just a little bit more. Okay, so that looks good. See how stiff that is? That looks really good. Use a rubber spatula so I can make sure I get everything. Let me remove this piece here. It's kind of in my way. I want to make sure I get that egg white, all that egg white in here. So let me put my attachment back on. And I'm just going to mix this just a little bit. Just blend it in. Okay. So this is the dough. And then you just want to put it together with your hands. Kind of make it into a ball. That looks good. Okay, so this is your dough, folks. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this between 2 sheets of parchment paper. We're gonna roll it out to approximately 1/4 of an inch thick. You want it really, really thin. I'm gonna go around 1/4 of an inch thick. And then we need to put it in the freezer for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. And take it out, and then we're gonna use our cookie cutters. It's important that you freeze it for about 10-15 minutes because it'll be too soft. The dough will be too soft. You can put it in the refrigerator for 20 to 30 minutes if you wanna do that, but I'm gonna be using the freezer. All right, so let's start rolling out this dough. Okay, so I'm gonna get my parchment paper. I'm gonna rip 2 sheets. Just about maybe that big, you know, it's very informal. I don't have a rule in front of me, but it's at least 15 inches long maybe. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I got my paper here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my dough, lay it on top. Now, I'm not doing this on a board, I'm doing it on my countertop, which is granite. And I'm just going to lay this second sheet on top, flatten it some, and then I'm gonna start rolling. it's a good idea to maybe get a towel, place this on top of the towel so it doesn't go all over the place when you're rolling. Sometimes I forget to do that. See how it stays? All right, now remember you do want it thin. I think this is probably about, yeah. So I'm gonna stop it here. This is approximately 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm gonna get this paper, this dough, and I'm going to put it in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes, all right? We'll be back. Okay, welcome back. So while we're waiting for the dough to chill, I'm gonna start getting my sugar here. This is regular sprinkles, white sugar. And Simon is playing with his toy in the living room, so it's making all this noise, so you gotta excuse him. Sorry about that. And basically all you do is in the little bowl, let me show you up close. So in the little bowl, just add, probably I'm gonna add like 2 or 3 drops of brown to that one. The yellow, the orange yellow, this is gonna be for the pumpkin. About 3 drops on that one. And then this is just red. This is gonna be for my maple leaf. Did 3 drops there. What's the matter, Simon? You upset I'm not paying attention to you? And we're gonna add 3 here. This is the orange red. And then basically all you do is you just get a spoon and you start mixing it. Give it a good mix. It's okay if some of the sugar is a little bit darker than the other. I kind of like that when it has a little variety. So some might be a little bit lighter than others. But there's that one. And then I'm just gonna mix this one. This is the red. I mean, I'm using the same spoon, so it got a little orange in there, but that's okay. It's fall, it's autumn. So this is my red. If you wanted to be fancy, you could even do a jack-o'-lantern. You can add a little green for the top of the pumpkin. You could be as fancy as you want. I'm gonna keep it very simple. All right, so let's check on that dough now. Okay, so we're back. So I took the dough out of the freezer and I'm just taking the parchment paper off, and I have the cookie cutters, and we're just going, I have a board, I placed the board on top of the towel. And let's see how easily this, and you might want to get a knife or a little spatula. I'm going to use a knife just to make sure that my pumpkins, and you can use any cutout you like. I'm using a maple leaf here for autumn. Okay, so I'm gonna get my dough and I'm gonna put it back into a ball, roll it out again, and then put it back in the freezer. So I'm actually gonna bake these first. I wanted to show you up close. What I decided to do with these is I'm going to add the sprinkles to these. I'll make the other batch plain for Yvonne. And so basically I'm adding sugar on top. Now, some of you might say, doesn't that defeat the purpose of it being healthy? Well, it's not a lot, you know what I mean? And the cookie is made with that sugar substitute, so all that stuff helps. And I'm just doing a little thin layer here. All right, and there you go. So we have our cookies. I'm gonna put them in the oven, 350 degrees for around 7-8 minutes, and then we should be back. Okay, so we just took them out of the oven. Now, you definitely don't want to remove them right away. You wanna wait a little bit. Let them rest on the pans as they're still cooking. When to take it out is really look for the edges. If it gets a little golden brown, not too golden brown, but a little golden brown, then you know they're done. This was in here about 8 minutes. So every oven is really different, so it depends. But look at your cookie. If you see it gets a little golden brown at the edges, then you know it is done, okay? So we want to let this set. We are going to transfer these cookies with the spatula onto this cookie rack here, cooling rack, and let those cook. But we don't want to remove them yet. We still want to let them sit just a little bit. I probably wait about a couple of minutes, 3 to 5 minutes or so. All right, and then we'll be back. Well, here they are. Oh my gosh, look at them. They look so good and they smell fantastic. I cannot wait until you guys try this recipe. It is so easy, so good. It's healthy, keto friendly. You can't go wrong. I'm gonna take a bite out of this one, but before I do that, I wanted to remind you about something. When you take them out of the oven, make sure you let them sit for at least 5 minutes or longer on the baking pan before you transfer them to the cooling rack. Once you transfer them to the cooling rack, let them cool for at least 10-15 minutes. You want to make sure they're totally cool before you remove them and put them on a nice platter like these. Okay, so now for the taste test. Wow. That's good. Tastes just like autumn, fall. The pumpkin spice, the nutmeg, the ginger. Get a nice spooky mug and put some coffee in there. Goes great with coffee. So good. So you can make them plain with no sugar at all, or you can make them and then add a little bit of that sparkling sugar on top if you wanted to. So, yummy. Thank you so much for joining us on Happy Healthy Living today. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe and like this video. And until next time, happy healthy living. Bye-bye.